Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, so if I stumble moving forwards, I apologise about that, and indeed if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well, if there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it cannot be helped, and hopefully it is not too much of an issue for you. Today I'm back with yet another Eurovision 2022 related video here on my channel, and once again I'm talking about the United Kingdom at the upcoming 66th contest, which as we all know will be staged next May in Turin in Italy. The reason I'm talking about the UK again is because it was announced last night, at the time of recording this video, that there is going to be a new partnership between the BBC and, who is it? Tap Management, Tap Music. And I thought that I'd talk about it in this particular video. Feel free to let me know your thoughts, and as always, links in the description to my other social media pages. I'll begin by reading from the BBC website, so these are not my words, but here we go. The BBC has today confirmed plans for the United Kingdom's participation in the 66th Eurovision Song Contest, which will be held in Turin, Italy in May 2022. BBC Studios will once again produce the BBC's coverage of the biggest and most watched song competition in the world. Great. For the 2022 contest, the BBC and BBC Studios will be collaborating with Tap Music, the global music publishing and management company behind some of the world's most successful pop artists, such as Dua Lipa, Lana Del Rey, and Ellie Goulding, in order to choose a song and act that will represent the United Kingdom in the biggest and most watched music contest on the planet, just emphasising that point again. So, for the past couple of years, the BBC has obviously opted for an internal selection. Fine, I've got no issues with that. And BMG, a record label, was involved in the selection process. So we had... oh no, it was just James Newman, wasn't it? Was he the only one? I can't even remember how long our partnership with BMG was, which probably goes a long way to saying how successful it was. I'm joking, of course. James Newman certainly was selected through this method. My Last Breath we never got to see on the Eurovision stage, but Embers, as we all know, earlier this year in Rotterdam, finished last with a big fat 0. Nothing from the public, nothing from the juries of music professionals. And that was a great shame. He didn't deserve 0 points. And I think the British press immediately assumed that nobody in Europe likes us, why do we even bother, when in actual fact, some people did vote for James, but because he didn't finish in the top 10 of a particular country's jury vote or public vote, he ended up with nothing. It's worth remembering that just because you get 0 doesn't mean that nobody voted for you. Anyway, enough on that tangent. Going back to the article, it says here, this is Kate Phillips, the Controller Entertainment Commissioning for the BBC. It says, in the UK, our love for Eurovision is as big as ever. You would not get that feeling from the press. But certainly myself and many other fans in the UK do love the contest very much. So make of that what you will. Anyway, and we have grand ambitions for the 2022 contest. I'm glad to hear it. So we're really excited to announce this collaboration that will enable us to tap into some great music talent. So what makes you think this will be different from the BMG deal that we had? Honestly, what makes you think it might be different? Susie Lamb, the managing director for BBC Studios, said this: BBC Studios are proud to once again be producing the coverage of the biggest music competition in the world. That's 3 times you've told me that. We're excited to be collaborating with Tap Music. Their expertise in managing world-class artists and finding huge international hit records speaks for itself, and we look forward to working with them on the UK act and song for the 2022 contest. Then we have Ben Mawson at Tap Music. We're really excited to be teaming up with the BBC for this event, and will use Eurovision to authentically reflect and celebrate the rich, diverse and world-class musical talent the UK is globally renowned for. I'll mention this point now, before I move on, and anybody who's from the UK will certainly get what I'm trying to say here. The UK music scene is not as great as people make it out to be. The singles chart is dominated by the same types of music. I think in terms of variety, there is shockingly little on offer. Now, I know that I'm only talking about the top 40, which is released every week, but even so, it's really not that diverse in my personal opinion. It is dominated, and has been for a good few years now, by samey rap music. Now, I listen to all different types of music, all different types of genres, but rap has never really been my thing, and so much of it is quite samey. And then you have Ed Sheeran and Adele. Adele's just come back with a new song, which is great, and she's got an album coming out soon as well. Ed Sheeran's got an album coming out. The two of them dominate the UK music scene, and nobody else really does. They have this strong hold on the music scene. They sell millions, they have number ones left, right and centre. Ed Sheeran only has to fart and he's got a number one. They really are the king and queen of the UK music scene. Where you need to look is the albums chart, which is a little bit more diverse, and you do get a lot of fresh blood, sometimes reaching number one. We've had Maisie Peters, for example, who's a great, promising female musician here in the UK. She didn't go to number one, but her album did very well. So if tap music, tap management, are going to look outside of their own acts, which I'm sure they will, then I would look at the albums chart as a more varied reflection of the UK music scene than the singles chart, which has been, for a long time, utterly irrelevant, it feels like. Going back to the article, the broadcast of the Eurovision Song Contest Grand Final on BBC One continues to be one of the most popular entertainment programmes on the BBC, with the most recent broadcast reaching an average of 7.8 million in the UK, making it the most watched Grand Final in the UK since 2014. Indeed, in terms of every country that broadcasts Eurovision, some of the highest ratings every year are from the UK, also Germany. Anyway, it is also one of the most popular entertainment programmes for younger audiences on the BBC, with 1.5 million 16 to 34-year-olds tuning in. And then there's just details about next year's competition. Here are some of the comments on the BBC website. I'll name and shame. I don't give a crap. Fiona says, complete waste of money, ignoring the fact that one of the other big entertainment shows on the BBC, Strictly Come Dancing, I believe costs quite a bit more to do every year. And I know that's more shows, but come on now. Bring on the Frock Destroyers. Heavens above, no. If you don't know who the Frock Destroyers are, they're a drag act, and they're quite popular, but that is exactly the sort of thing that we do not need to be sending to the contest. It's very odd that so many people in the UK mock our participation and yet still want us to participate and do crap. I just don't get that mentality. Files, who commented that Frock Destroyers thing, we need to let TAP have complete control over song choice and production. Then they need to come up with a quality track and get Mons Zelmerlöw on board to sing it. He is an honorary Brit now. We used a Canadian with Katrina. Is Katrina Canadian? I thought she was American. So why not a Swede? Personally, I couldn't care less if they're from Britain or not. And I'll move on to a point that I was going to make later. This is such a rambling video. But tap music, tap management, and the BBC, you do not need to be looking for a singer. Forget it. The most important thing is the song. Who sings it is almost pointless at this moment in time. It really is. Look for the song first. Now, the song might be written by the same person who's going to be singing it. Great, if so. But the song is the most crucial element here. Look at what we've sent in the past few years. You have to acknowledge the fact that those songs have not been top draw material. They just haven't been good enough. And they've been performed by musicians, with all due respect to James Newman and Michael Rice and Surrey and Joe and Jake and 2017. Well, Lucy Jones, she did reasonably well. So maybe she can be excluded from this little list. But we haven't had musicians with a great deal of charisma. And maybe a great deal of confidence as well. Michael Rice performed on that Tel Aviv stage, and he looked all at sea. He didn't even look very comfortable performing the damn song. And the song itself was so utterly plain that it was clear nobody was really going to gravitate towards it, the public or the voting juries. You need a song that is attention-grabbing, but doesn't have stupid, unnecessary gimmicks about it. Forget that. We don't need big foam trumpets on stage again. We don't need Suri's sort of diamond light-up tunnel. Okay, maybe that wasn't so much of a gimmick, but we don't need anything like that. We really don't. Måneskin this year, okay, they had a sort of podium for the drummer, but they didn't really have anything else. Netta admittedly did have the swinging cat ornaments on stage. Salvador had nothing. Duncan had a piano. That's not a gimmick. That was a sort of necessary thing for that performance. He did have the light-up ball, but that wasn't really anything to shout home about. You don't need a gimmick. You don't need something that's incredibly up-tempo. You don't need something that's incredibly minimalistic. You don't need an established name. The BBC have already gone big on the fact that this management team have the likes of Dua Lipa on their books. Yeah, great, but she's never going to do it. Although I believe in the past... No, it was Rita Ora. Rita Ora, who is a big name now, she did try and get her foot in the door with Eurovision many years ago for the UK. But obviously wasn't successful. What was I saying? Yeah, established names. You don't need them. They can be complete newcomers nobody's ever heard of. The song is key. Stage it well. Look, and I've said this before, look at what other countries have done. See how they have been successful. Look at the Netherlands. This year, not a very good result. But look at the Netherlands and how they turned it around after years of complete mediocrity. In 2013 with Anouk, they completely turned their fortunes around. Look at Switzerland and see how they've done it. Talk to them. Talk to the broadcasters. Ask them how they've achieved this. Work together with them. Learn from them. Take that advice on board. For too long, the BBC has been utterly, utterly ignorant of what everybody else on the continent is doing. And I think that has played a part in why we've been so poor for so long. Odd choices, bland songs, this making it harder than it needs to be. It doesn't need to be that hard. It's not hard to find a decent song. It really isn't. Every now and then there will be a song in the UK Top 40 every week that I hear and I think, oh yeah, that would do very well at Eurovision. So it's not hard. Finding a singer isn't necessarily hard. I would go for somebody who's got quite a bit of experience in front of quite a large audience, because you don't want somebody who's a complete novice necessarily, because it might show on the night. Oh, dearie me. Anyway, that's what it says on the BBC website. There are a few more comments here. I can't believe this. My friend has put a comment. I've literally just seen this. I may as well mention him. My friend Josh, he's a singer. He's put here, I'd love to represent the UK with my song Waiting Game. So yeah, maybe if I remember, I'll put a link in the description to... he's got a YouTube channel, he's got a Facebook page for all his music, so maybe I'll leave a comment. This is somebody else now. Whilst our songs are okay, when you compare them to the overall package from other countries, we just don't stand out. I absolutely agree. It's not just the song, but a polished performer with good visuals. I don't want to be disrespectful and appreciate people's efforts, but last year's presentation was so underwhelming. You mean this year's presentation? Where were the graphics? Where was the use of technology? You don't need all of the flashy stuff. But I completely agree with what this person's saying. We could send Dua Lipa or Ellie Goulding and we still wouldn't win. I've already seen comments on Facebook as well. We could send Adele. We could send Ed Sheeran. We could send Adele and Ed Sheeran doing a duo. Or a duet or whatever. And we still wouldn't win. But you wouldn't know unless you tried. And also, that's such a negative attitude to have. Give people a reason to pick up their phone to make their one vote for the UK. You would clearly vote for the dynamic energy of Måneskin, the spine-chillingly beautiful chanson of Barbara Pravi, the well-promoted kookiness of Daudi Frère. Yes, absolutely, about Daudi Frère. That song, Think About Things, last year's effort, and also 10 years, this year's Icelandic entry, received more attention than our own entry. And that speaks volumes from the BBC, and also the fact that Embers just wasn't promoted that much at all, in my personal opinion. Stand out for the right reasons. Quite a few people on here are talking sense, to be honest with you. Just copy Sweden. Well, I've said that before. Although Melfest has stagnated for quite some years as well. Underwhelming. Why can't we get Radio 1 involved? Radio 1 involved? Puh, do they even play music anymore? I wouldn't trust them as far as I can throw them. There's a couple of other articles here. I know that this is a long, rambling video, but do bear with me. I've also got something from one of the leading newspapers to read out as well. I think the point I'm trying to make here, and I'll say it again, it's the song. Forget this intense search for a musician. That can come in time. It's the song that matters. It needs to be top quality. If people in Russia and Spain and Azerbaijan and Sweden aren't playing the song, you haven't got a chance. Zitie Buoni was getting so much attention pre-Eurovision, and it stood out so much. You just knew that the votes were going to pour in, and that's exactly what happened. This is on the BBC website as well. In an interview with BBC Radio 1's Newsbeat, Mawson, who I mentioned a moment ago, said the process of choosing the artist and song was not simple. But actually, it sort of is. You know, I think so. I think our conclusion was Eurovision is not as political as people think. Thank you. It isn't as political as people think. Absolutely right. And I think we should focus on getting some really special music. The UK music scene, as I said a moment ago, is dominated by rap. Don't send rap. Just don't. It'll backfire. You know, I think so. We don't want to see Eurovision as a boom or bust night for the artist. We want to see this as a platform for development for a career. I've been saying all along, the BBC Sound Off poll, it's been there for years and years. Use it. Use it. They just won't. We don't know yet if there'll be a new artist, but if they are, we want to make sure this is going to be a really positive experience. Support them. Promote it. Get them on TV shows across Europe. Get them on radio stations across Europe. It's not hard to do that. Dua Lipa. I'm a proud Brit, whilst also being a proud Kosovan. I'm happy to lend my manager to the cause. I'll be cheering them on. Will you really? Okay, fine. Not much there. Let me go back to here. This is... Oh, am I going to have to pay to read this one? I don't know. It's going to load up anyway. While that loads up, I'm going to read this article from a newspaper today. It's going to say pretty much the same stuff. I don't know who wrote this, but these are not my words. It has long been a joke within the music industry. There you go. Great start. That's the British press talking about Eurovision in a nutshell. And one I've laughed along with. But for the first time, Britain actually has a hope at next year's Eurovision Song Contest. So let's ignore the fact that we've won 5 times and finished second more than any other nation in the history of the competition. Let's just gloss over that. After years of punching below our weight, some serious musical heavyweights are taking on the challenge of spearheading our efforts, with support from A-listers, including Dua Lipa and Sir Elton John. In charge of the campaign will be Pop Supremo's Tap Music Management, blah blah blah, thriving rising star Dermot Kennedy, he's on their books as well. If anyone can do it, it's these guys. Really. BMG couldn't do it, and arguably they're more well known. Leanne Pinnock from Little Mix, she's on their books, and apparently Little Mix, they're all splitting up, so she might be available next May. Blah, blah, blah. Elton John said there aren't many televised events that are as big and global as Eurovision, so it's a wonderful opportunity for us to remind the world yet again of the depth and diversity of our talent. I can't wait to see what gems our friends at Tap Music will unearth. I'm told the team have already got Radio 1's head honchos on board, as they bid to reach a younger audience and reinvigorate the excitement around Eurovision. The competition remains a huge draw across the continent, where it is taken seriously, but has lost some of its appeal in the UK. As I've said before, if the UK, if England, Scotland, Wales, Northern, more so England, let's say, if we flopped at the football, we demand change. If we failed at the Olympics, we demand change. So why are we okay to embarrass ourselves in the biggest entertainment show in the world? We shouldn't, and Us Eurovision fans, we don't want any more of that crap. What else does it say here? For many years, we've witnessed the United Kingdom not doing as well as we would have liked when pop music is something we usually excel at. But I think it's stagnated for a long time. Anyway, the article goes on to mention Maneskin, who've just gone from strength to strength over the past few months. Now, can I read the whole article? No! Oh, I've got to pay to read that crappy article. Anyway, The Telegraph, another British newspaper, says that our chances are doomed anyway, so that's fantastic. Can I read this article as well? I doubt it. Dear, dear me. Anyway, I think I'm going to shut up in a moment, because this video is long enough, and it has been terribly rambling. I'll say it again. The emphasis just needs to be on the song. Get the song first, then find a singer for it. Somebody who's not a novice. Yeah, maybe they're very young, but they've got some experience in front of a live audience. They've got charisma. They've got the vocal chops to pull it off. It's not something plain and safe again. Look at what other countries are doing. Look at San Remo. Look at Melfest. Look at Eesti Laul, for crying out loud. Look at what they are doing. Learn from them. Because the BBC hasn't learned. They've not even looked and taken any notes. It's terrible. It's a rookie error, as far as I'm concerned. You've got to look at what other nations are doing first and learn from them. Take Spain, for example. I mean, they haven't won in so long. So long. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. In fact, just before I go, because as if I haven't named and shamed enough people already, I'm going to look at the Facebook comments. Because, you know, let's end this video on a laugh. Why not? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh, you just know these comments are going to be golden. I could make a whole video about this. Let me know your thoughts. I'm genuinely interested. I still think a national final might be the way to go, particularly if we struggle next year as well. You know, I've said it before, like Melfest, one show in England, one in Scotland, one in Wales, one in Northern Ireland, variety of genres, variety of artists, different ages, different levels of experience, and, you know, some qualify. There's a big final at the, I don't know, Wembley Arena or something, and the atmosphere is fantastic and everybody gets it. So let's take a look at some of these comments. This is on the BBC Eurovision Facebook page. Who are the powers that be that select our song? They seem to have no idea what the competition should be about. Look at other countries they choose, up-and-coming bands, stroke singers, or already successful artists who already have a strong fan base but who are different from the norm. Our country needs to get away from the mockery and gimmicky label it puts on this competition to encourage credible artists to take part. I agree, Caroline. Colin. You'll like this one. Doesn't matter who is behind it. If we keep entering the same old drivel, we can keep expecting the same results. What was the last track called? Embers. That sums up the UK at Eurovision for over the last decade. Our hopes of doing well again went up in smoke years ago. Sorry. Well, actually, that comment's not as negative as I thought it was going to be. Somebody here doesn't want Ellie Goulding. Somebody here, Ian, says the songs are either safe, liked by only a few in our country, not anywhere else, sung poorly, or have exceedingly poor staging, or if you like, all the above. Yes, he makes sense there. This person here, you do need an established artist or group. Send an unknown as it's instant go home. Not necessarily. Steps. Every year Steps are mentioned, but their attitude towards Eurovision has been pants. This person also suggests, R&B, soul, country, folk, jazz, opera. Catherine Jenkins. Michael Ball. He'd never do it again. He's been very vocal. Churches would be excellent, but arguably they're too famous to do it now. Amy MacDonald, hell yes. Hell yes, I think that ship has sailed. Chelsea Grimes, oh yes. Chelsea Grimes is a singer and footballer. For those of you that don't know, she stepped in to do a little bit of commentary, if you can call it that, for the BBC at this year's semi-finals. And she's on Tap Music's books. So I would not be surprised if it's her next year. Sharon. Sharon says it matters not a jot what song, who's singing it, or who's choosing it. It could be the best song ever written and we'd never win. It's all political. There it is. Time to stop funding this rubbish with our license fees and spend the money on other projects with a bit of integrity. Why is our country still wasting money that we can't afford on this contest? Well, to be fair, the UK can't afford much these days. David makes a good point, saying the people who blame Brexit haven't got a clue. People vote for their neighbours, ignoring the fact that the UK votes for Ireland. Oh, shocking. You've got to love the UK for trying. Somebody here has made a very good point about the fact that the UK is made up of 4 countries. BBC do a mini Eurovision. I've just made that point about getting the other nations more involved. Yes, I absolutely agree. Every year the same excitement, and then there will be a release of some unknown backing singer in March with a Still in Love with You entry. Dear me, dear me. Let's face it, we could enter George Michael, Freddie Mercury with John Lennon and we'd still get 0 points. Am I going to tell her that they're all dead? Oh, dear me. Dear me. I think as well, just before I wrap up now, because I know this video's turned into a shambles, where we've struggled a lot over the past couple of years, yes, we have struggled in general, but particularly in terms of public support. We've had a little bit of jury love, not a lot, but a little. The public, on the other hand, couldn't give a toss. And I say it every year, the public results usually, for some songs, are outrageous. What on earth Europe's public is listening to, I just don't know. I mean, Spain 2012 is the best example. A ludicrously low mark. I think Tap Music need to tap into what the public in Europe are listening to. Forget about the juries so much. Listen to what other people are listening to in Europe. What music is successful elsewhere. And then the public votes might come pouring in. That's where we need to succeed first. The juries, they'll vote for who they like, of course. I don't think whoever we send will win. What is all of this shite about, frock destroyers? No, 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 no. No one likes us, what's the point? Dear. Everybody talks about as well, I say everybody, a few people here are talking about it's so expensive. They have no idea how much it costs every year. Not a clue. Haven't even bothered to look it up. Oh, dear me. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough. I'm going to shut up now. I'm very, very interested, believe me I am, to know your thoughts on this. Will we succeed, or is it the same old stuff from the UK at the Eurovision Song Contest? I'm hopeful. Not really hopeful, but I'm hopeful. I want to see... I don't want to see quality. I want to hear quality. I want it to be preferably a known name, although that doesn't matter much. A known name, preferably with a song they've written themselves. Something that's just really good. Catchy, performed well, somebody who can sing live, and hopefully it'll be staged well on the night. Promote the hell out of it. It really isn't that hard. So don't make it harder than it needs to be. I've had enough. I'm now going to finish this tea and have some biscuits. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Roll on Eurovision 2022. Please do let me know your thoughts. Contact me through YouTube, Twitter, whatever it is. I'm looking forward to reading your comments. And if there's something else about this announcement that I should be reading, if there's something online that you think might be of interest to me, let me know. Thank you so much for the support. Hopefully the quality wasn't too bad. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.